The situation on the Pokrovsk axis remains extremely tense. This is where Russian forces have concentrated their main efforts trying to break through Ukraine's defense. But our warriors consistently disrupt the occupiers' plans and inflict heavy losses on them every single day. And in just 5 days, the enemy has lost 524 killed and 260 wounded. Ukrainian forces have also neutralized 55 pieces of ground equipment and nearly 300 enemy drones. Our defense forces are conducting coordinated fire and maneuver operations aimed at exhausting the enemy's reserves, destroying their equipment and complicating any attempts to advance. On the approaches to Pokrovsk, Ukraine's defense forces are actively dismantling the foundation of the Russian offensive, their logistics. A precise airstrike destroyed the road connecting Selidove and Pokrovsk, one of the key routes the occupiers used to move light vehicles and infiltrate the city in small groups. Now the enemy has lost the ability to maneuver quickly or covertly in this area. Their simply lines are effectively cut. At the same time, Ukrainian units on other sections of the front are constructing additional engineering barriers, minefields, obstacles, and fortifications designed to complicate any Russian attempts to advance. Ukraine's defense forces continue systematically destroying the enemy's logistics and weakening their offensive capabilities. This is deliberate, methodical work that reduces the occupiers' potential every day and brings Ukraine closer to victory. Meanwhile, on the Alexandrivka axis, Russian forces attempted to break through defense by deploying nearly 24 armored vehicles to support their assault groups. The occupiers hoped that thick fog would allow them to move their equipment and infantry toward Ukrainian positions unnoticed. But the plan collapsed. Ukrainian units detected the enemy's movements in time and struck the advancing columns with coordinated fire. As a result, 2 Russian tanks and 4 armored fighting vehicles were destroyed, while 1 additional tank and 2 armored vehicles were damaged. Ukrainian defenders also eliminated 3 and wounded 5 Russians moving alongside the equipment. Here, the 93rd Mechanized Brigade Holodny Yar showcases yet another failed attempt by Russian forces to break through Ukraine's defenses. The occupiers tried to exploit the fog, hoping Ukrainian drones wouldn't be able to detect them or strike their equipment and infantry. But they didn't know one crucial detail. At the very moment of their assault, advanced ground robotic reconnaissance systems were already positioned in their rear. These robots were the first to identify the movements of Russian columns, transmit precise coordinates, and turn the enemy's vehicles into perfect targets. Ukrainian FPV drones immediately engaged the targets. The columns moving through the fog simply disintegrated under the strikes. Another enemy attempt to break through under the cover of weather ended in complete failure, and once again proved that Ukrainian defenders can see even where Russians believe they are invisible. On the Zaporizhzhia axis, Ukrainian drones once again demonstrated their precision and mastery. Operators of the 2nd Mountain Assault Battalion entered the occupiers' positions without knocking, quietly, swiftly, and with maximum effectiveness. Our birds struck directly at enemy shelters. Accurate drops guaranteed detonations, and another dugout full of Russian troops was wiped out. This is pure professional work, precise maneuvers, centimeter-level accuracy, and zero chance for anyone who came to our land not in peace, but to die. Ukrainian assault units and drone operators continue methodically clearing Zaporizhzhia steppe of occupiers, quickly, precisely, and painfully for the enemy. On the front line, operators of the 5th Assault Brigade are targeting Russian UAVs launched for reconnaissance and fire adjustment. These enemy waders hovering in the sky in search of targets didn't get their chance this time. They were detected first and destroyed before they could do any damage. Ukrainian fighters maintain round-the-clock control of the airspace, rapid detection, precise targeting, and coordinated engagement. This work saves lives on the positions every day and prevents the enemy from gaining any advantage. On the Dobropilya axis, the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine Azov is striking the enemy with precise and devastating drone attacks directly on the front line. Punishment from above is not a metaphor. It's the coordinated work of Ukraine's defense forces aimed at stopping constant Russian assaults and preventing the enemy from advancing. The strike UAV pilots of the Azov Corps are among the best in their field. Their mission is simple yet strategically critical: detect, track and destroy anything the enemy attempts to bring toward the line of battle. The footage shows the combat work of the Battalion of Unmanned Systems. Russian manpower, equipment and assets come in under accurate hits. Every strike is one less attempt by the enemy to break through the defenses. Ukrainian forces continue methodically exhausting the invaders, destroying their resources and complicating every effort the enemy makes to move deeper into Ukrainian territory. A continuous artillery duel is underway on the positions, and the warriors of the 44th Separate Artillery Brigade, named after Hetman Danilo Apostol, confidently maintain the upper hand. Their counter-battery work is precise, composed and relentless. Ukrainian artillery crews detected and destroyed 4 Russian D-30 howitzers, as well as a 2 A-65 Msta-B heavy howitzer, which the enemy has been actively using to strike our positions. Each destroyed gun means fewer enemy attacks, less pressure on the front line, and greater stability for Ukraine's defenders. The battle continues every minute, and the artillerymen of the 44th Brigade keep extinguishing Russian batteries, wearing down the enemy and stripping them of the ability to conduct effective fire. On the front line, another stunt performance by Russian occupiers ended the same way most of their experiments do: fatally. The enemy tried to use a so-called tactical role, clearly inspired by action movies, hoping their flashy tricks would help him evade an FPV drone strike. But such moves don't work against the kamikaze drones of Ukraine's 3rd Army Corps. The Ukrainian operator kept the target locked and guided the drone precisely onto the Russian soldier. The stunt didn't save him, it only made his maneuvers look even more absurd. Ukrainian FPV drones once again proved no movie moves will help anyone who comes to our land with war. The video shows the work of the Fatum Group operators eliminating Russian occupiers who tried to deceive Ukrainian forces. Some pretended to be dead, others hid in shelters hoping to wait out the strike and remain unnoticed. But neither tricks nor camouflage helped. The drones detected everyone, both those lying motionless and those trying to hide quietly. The main character of this footage is a Russian soldier who burst into flames after a precise hit and tried to run, unsuccessfully. The Ukrainian FPV drone stayed locked on target until the very end, leaving him no chance. This is how our land is being cleared, methodically, professionally, and inevitably. Here we see Russian troops attempting to use an anti-tank trench as cover and a route for concealed movement. But what was supposed to protect them turned into a trap. Ukrainian soldiers detected the concentration of occupiers and struck them precisely with FPV drones. Every hit was accurate, every strike fatal. As a result, the trench they descended into, hoping to hide or wait things out, became a mass grave for those who came to Ukraine's soil with weapons. Fatum once again proves no enemy hiding trick can save them from the precision of Ukrainian drones. Fighting continues on the outskirts of Myrnograd, but the city stands firm. In an attempt at psychological pressure, Russian forces hung their flag on the territory of the Myrnograd Vugilya mine. Their idea was simple: to create the illusion that they were already inside the city and in control. But this is a lie. The Russian flags were swiftly eliminated by fighters of the 338th Separate Marine Brigade. From time to time, the occupiers tried to infiltrate Myrnograd in small groups, 1 or 2 at a time. Every such attempt ends the same way. Ukrainian soldiers detect them and destroy them before they can establish a foothold or pose any real threat. This video shows the complete annihilation of a Russian assault group of around 20 soldiers. The occupiers attempted to advance, spreading out through a tree line, but were detected in time by Ukrainian reconnaissance. Once their movement was confirmed, both artillery and strike drones engaged simultaneously. The combined strike produced an immediate result. Precise hits wiped out the group before they could reach positions or take cover. Most of the assault troops were eliminated on the spot, and the rest were finished off by drones targeting the remaining personnel trying to flee or hide. This is a clear example of how coordinated action between artillery and UAVs disrupts any enemy attempt to break through the defense, turning Russian assault groups into irreversible losses. That's all for now. If you believe the world should know the truth about this war, make sure to subscribe, like and share this video so everyone can see what Ukraine is fighting for. Together we're stronger. Together we bring victory closer.